Yes, another section for Gcloud SDK. I'm sorry guys, but this is very important from exam as well as practical point of view. Guys, in IT, using command line, almost every single time you're going to keep using a set of variables over and over. And so you define them as environment variables. And depending on the tool that you're using, there are different ways to define them in one place. Bash shell, there are shell specific files, .bash profile, .gssrc. So Google Cloud gives you configs to do the same thing. The four main things that are visible to us are account, project, default zone, and default region. Now we are looking at the default configuration, and I'm going to create a few more configurations which we'll be using for other exercises too. So I just came up with this made up organization. The top tier is Azad's Inc., which is my family. Then scam.com uses trashcanpups@gmail.com. We did find fire for puppies in a trash can, but I just was having a hard time coming up with names. And the third one is I just picked up my neighbors' names and assigned it Brooks Shoes Company. I'm gonna go ahead and get these created. It'll be just a lot easier to explain concepts when we have more than one available. Alright, so ignore the default for now, but those three profiles, just look at the names, the accounts being used, and the default region. One I have created in US East, other in US Central, and third in US West 1. Now the is active column is what tells us which is the active configuration. All right, the projects, the weird names are basically the default projects that got created when I created those accounts. And so the way these profiles get created is by Gcloud init command. So guys, so very first time you execute Gcloud init, those first line before the pick configurations to use is not going to be there, and the only option you get is that create a new configuration. But that's very straightforward, and once you watch this video you should be able to do that on your own. But in the exams you're going to get a question like this with a configuration like this, and based on that it will be a scenario based question. What would you do if this? So let's walk through this whole config. So the first paragraph is what the current configuration is. That's the active configuration, and that just compute US Central 1, US Central 1A. The account is Azad's at azads.us, and project is Johnny's admin project. Okay, now the first option, do you want to reinitialize this configuration? And reinitialize is just a fancy way of saying rewrite the existing configuration. Then second is create a new configuration, and the three options after that, it's basically giving an option to overwrite those configurations. All right, and in the next video we'll start looking at each of these, because this video has kind of gotten long. So see you in the next lecture guys. Thanks.